Asio maniji. Asio. Yo, yo, yo. What's going on, kings and queens, chiefs and chieftesses? This is Dr. Sean, Dr. Chieftess Sunflower, aka the Motivational Dentist, back with another live video for the Hood to Hooded podcast. And as you can see from the title, we are still staying in the motivational lane today. All right. So if you're watching this on the replay, or even if you pop in, make sure you hit that follow button or subscribe if you're on Twitch, or just participate, drop some comments, let me know how you feeling today, how you doing, and what's the tea? What's the tea, guys? So before we get started, I am cold as hell up here in New York. It just is just cloudy, raining, and you pretty much need a heater right now. And I do not know why upstate New York is this cold, but the Florida girl in me is not happy about it, guys. Whenever you have weather like this, it kind of makes you drowsy all the time. So I feel like I've been in hibernation for months and months and months. I'm so fucking over it. Like, I'm over it. Anywho, what is the weather like where you are? Do y'all have any sun? Could y'all please send me some sunshine? Please, 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 please. Okay, enough of my cold rant. But I just had to get that out. That's why I'm dressed like wintertime. You see? Got a sweater on and all. Dressed for wintertime. Because it's still winter here in New York. The weather is confused as hell. Alright, so as you can see from this broadcast title, we will be talking about my family didn't set me up for success, so I had to take it. And you know, when you come from the hood and you're trying to make it to that hooded status, meaning a success level, sometimes you got to take that shit. Sometimes you have to show up for yourself because there is no blueprint. So creating my own blueprint while still trying to figure it out was very, very tough. Getting to this point of getting hooded is extremely tough when you come from nothing. How many of us starting from the bottom? If you starting from the bottom, I want you to drop a 1 in the chat. If you started from the bottom, put a 1 in the chat. If you started from the bottom, you trying to go from hood to hooded. Even if you watching this on the replay, just say I started from the bottom, Dr. Sean. I had to find my own damn way, because a lot of people in the hood, in the projects, will not be set up for success. The recipe just doesn't include success in the formula when you're trying to make it out. All right? And most people don't even know where to begin. For me, for instance, as a teenager on the path to trying to escape the hood, I didn't know where to begin. I was just copying my friends who had parents who were setting them up for success. So I was a little copycat of the success formula. I would see people doing things like, oh, well, I guess I should be taking a test. I guess I should be applying to college. And sometimes you don't have a roadmap, and that can make your journey so much more difficult. It can make your journey extremely tough. But guess what? That doesn't mean it's impossible. That doesn't mean it's impossible, my Niji. That just means it's going to be hard. It will be a little difficult. It will be a little tough. Okay? And disclaimer, today is day 3 of my consistency challenge. I started over again. So today is day 3, and it's another day where I really wanted to just stay in the bed because of the weather, and I'm also not feeling the best because of the weather. I feel like I'm getting the cold. But One key about success and building your own blueprint is some days you got to do things you don't want to do, like show up. What's going on? What's going on? I see y'all. What's going on, Clifford 2000? How you feeling today? So in this So welcome to the Hood to Hooded podcast, where we get real about breaking generational curses, building wealth, and walking in your purpose. Today's episode is one for those who feel like they've been thrown in the deep end with no life vests. The ones who didn't get the manual, they didn't get the money or the mentorship, but still refuse to drown. This is me. I still refuse to drown. You didn't have a manual. You didn't have anybody setting you up for college or showing you which career path to take or how to invest or financial literacy. So some people drown from that. But when you're an optimistic person, and only people who watching this are probably optimistic people who don't mind growing and learning and trying to figure it out. Now, one thing about this podcast is I'm taking away like the super seriousness of it. So feel free to chat, drop your questions. Very informal. I just talk to keep myself entertained and to also make sure there is some substance and purpose in this. But I don't want it to be like too school-like, too, serious. Because then that's when I start to get in my head and not showing up because I'm like, dang, I don't have a subject. I don't want to do all that. So I just show up and I just put my heart on my sleeve and let y'all know the things that I went through to go from hood to hooded, to go from that little girl in the hood without my parents so that I can figure it out. Because I didn't want to stay there. I didn't want to stay stagnant. I am well. Sorry you don't feel well. Colds are no fun. Right. I don't have a cold yet, but I feel one coming on, and it's just because of this weather. If y'all could see the weather here in New York, upstate New York, it is terrible. The weather is like, I don't know. I really want to move back to Florida or Georgia or somewhere even further down south New York because it's just, I don't know. And even my patients notice it. Everybody's like, what is this? Like, it's just like clouds every day. It is very weird. Very, very weird. Coming from someone who is from the Sunshine State. Sick of it or nah? Well, yeah, I'm sick of it. So, the first point we will be talking about is the truth about starting from zero. The truth about starting from zero. All right. So the first point is that growing up without a safety net, no inheritance, no business lessons, and no savings from your parents, or even with the skills to develop these things, it makes life extremely difficult. And I have not had a chance to see the video again because I've just been pretty much asleep all day, not feeling good. I hear a dog barking outside. You hear a dog? That's probably at your house. I don't have a dog. I don't hear a dog either. Alright? So growing up without a safety net, no inheritance, no business lessons, and no savings. That is my story from hood to hooded. This person you see on the wall that has this doctoral degree didn't grow up with anything passed down, which is why I knew early on that I would have to fend for myself. At 8 years old, when my mom passed away, I knew that it would be tough. It was really hard to even overcome such mental trauma, but deep inside of me, what she told me, hey, you're going to be a doctor one day. That stuck with me from the age of like 5, 6, all the way up until I actually became a doctor, because that's the only thing that I had to go by. That was a seed that she planted in my head. So I guess I could say my mom planted that seed, which grew into a flower. So maybe my family did. She set me up for success, but she wasn't here to nurture that seed. And the mental health issues that come with losing a parent at such a young age, especially as a child, I don't think it ever really goes away. It never really goes away. And even to this day, it never goes away. I was feeling, some days I just want to call my mom. So I'll be like in my feelings and I'm like, dang, I wish I could call my mom. Because those lessons that you didn't get in those days when you just feeling like, I just want to be a mama's baby or something. Those are the days when it hits. So a lot of us grew up without that safety net. No inheritance, no business lessons, and no savings. And we don't even know that these things should be enforced in the household. Your parents should set you up with some type of inheritance, some type of business lessons, and some type of savings. But as Niji, we already know the stereotypes that are put into the government. We already know all the things that are placed into our lives as roadblocks. These aren't things that are not on purpose. They are there on purpose for you, and you only, not to succeed. Like I mentioned yesterday, the studies show that when melanated copper tone children learn who they are, they become so powerful. So this is why there's a fight to ban the things that help us become empowered. Okay? What are your thoughts on The Lion King and how the story relates to going from hood to hood? Have you seen the 1941 Disney movie Dumbo, the elephant with the big ears? Haven't seen that one. I love Lion King. I haven't seen The Lion King in so long. But the way it relates to going from hood to hood, I would have to think about that for a second. That is a tough question. Maybe it's not tough, but I would have to actually sit and think about how The Lion King relates to hood because I haven't seen the movie in so long. But I know that Mufasa and the kingdom and all of that. It's an animal world, so it would be kind of hard to relate it to my world. But you could tell me how you think it relates to going from hood to hood. Excuse me, y'all. Got the sniffles. You can tell me how you think it relates to going from hood to hood, but I will think about that. It's a tricky one. Good question, though. So, without those inheritance, without those lessons about how to run a business, you kind of enter the world with no type of safety net. And for me, just having the seed that my mom planted, that was enough to get me through because the support just wasn't really there. It just wasn't really there. And this prompted me to start braiding hair as a teenager. I used to braid hair around the neighborhood to get money to buy school clothes, just to kind of have some sort of independent. I always had this independent mindset, braiding hair. And then on my 16th birthday, I started working. But during all of this time, nobody ever talked about, inheritance. And I could say, yeah, my mom left me some inheritance, but something happened with the court where somebody stole it. But that's a whole nother story for another day. People are trifling like that. But I didn't have any evidence of that, so I don't really talk about that. I knew whatever they stole, I can't get it back. I still got to start from zero. No business lessons. Even when I was braiding hair, nobody said, hey, save your money, start a business. That wasn't there. It was just me braiding hair, taking the money, going to the mall, and blowing my money. And no savings. Not learning these things sets you up for failure, my Niji. And my hood to hood and mentees, it sets you up for complete failure. Okay, because you'll get out into the world and think everything is gravy, and it's not. You're entering the world with people who have been set up from birth to be great. Their parents pour into them from birth. And this is something that we have to change. A lot of young adults, when they enter the job market and they lose interest in going to school because you're going for 12 years and school can be a lot. You take that break and you never go back. Some people end up feeling ashamed, angry, and resentful about what you didn't get. I used to feel ashamed, angry, resentful about the things that I knew I wasn't set up for. But as a teenager, my whole thing was I just have to work my way out of this. If I get a job, I can work my way out of this. I started working on my 16th birthday. That's how desperate I was to make some money and get out of poverty, not knowing that that was not the way. I started when it was like $4 an hour. Yeah, $4 an hour. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So no trust fund, no family business, and no emotional support. Of course, I had a few that I could put on one hand that did show up consistently. Maybe I could say my aunt. She showed up consistently, but I didn't live with her. I still had to go home to poverty. I still had to go home to one of the adults who had me who didn't treat us right, my siblings. I still had to deal with a lot of emotional trauma after my mom passed away from adults who just did not give a fuck about my future. Those same adults could have caused me to fail. Those same adults could have caused me to go to the left, but you have to have a determination like no other. You have to have a mindset that does not fall for peer pressure, that does not agree with the stereotypes, and sometimes it is your truth that you have to deny. I had to deny the truth that I was stuck in this hood without any safety net. I had to realize, okay, this is where I'm starting from the bottom. So when you hear people say they started from the bottom, they really mean like I started from the bottom, and if I don't work hard, if I don't put in overtime, if I don't at least try to stay in school and use the school route, that's the only route I knew at the time is, okay, if I want to be a doctor, I got to research what are the steps. This is me as a little teenager. What are the steps? What do I have to do? What tests do I need to take? How much money do I need? It's like a master plan that you must create for yourself, which is why this is called, it wasn't set up for me, but I had to go get it any damn ways. Sometimes you got to go get it any damn ways. It's like, you know what? I'm not going to settle for less. I'm not going to get so comfortable in my misery that I do not fight for my life and that I do not fight for the opportunity to wake up and be great. No matter the setbacks that we go through, even after decades of trying, I still feel like I'm not where I want to be or need to be, despite the accomplishments. And I feel like that's a mental roadblock that we must overcome, because you just want to make it. You don't want to stay stuck. Okay? It is hard to build when you're still trying to heal. And honestly, I know that even though I have this exterior that is a full-grown adult that wakes up and puts on a white coat, that goes in here and extracts teeth and does fillings and root canals and crowns and dental work, and I have this top-of-the-notch, expensive-ass education, somewhere deep inside of me is a child that did not heal. It did not heal. Well, she did not heal completely. And I don't know what it takes to make her heal completely. Maybe people might say, oh, it's time. Some people will say that wound never heals. But I have so much embedded trauma that did not heal, And sometimes that can hold you back from elevating to the next level. But the best thing about trauma is that when you talk about it, when you get it out, when you are aware of the situation, you can begin to heal from it. So it's just like me knowing that I never had consistency. Well, I can't say never, but consistency is one of the things that's going to prevent me from elevating to that level of success. The degrees, all of these things, if you don't have consistency with yourself, if you can't show up for yourself, then you count yourself out automatically. Honestly, even if your parents did set you up for success and you still don't have consistency, you still gonna fail. So this goes for everybody. So we don't have to ever wake up feeling ashamed and angry and resentful about the things that we lack, because guess what? People who go from hood to hood are often delayed but not denied. There were so many times in my life where I felt like it wasn't going to happen for me, but guess what? My true success or testimony was only delayed. It was never denied. And spiritually, I know that I'm growing. internally, I know that I'm growing. So you just have to keep going, even on those days where you are reminded that, damn, I started from nothing. It's okay. Look how you turn something. Look how you turn nothing into something. Look how you planted a seed in the dirt, and now that you're this beautiful flower. Yes, you might wilt a little bit. Yes, a couple of your leaves might fall off. You might lose a couple petals, but guess what? You are still growing into this beautiful tree, and you grow with the seasons. Like now, the winter don't know how to fucking leave, but the trees still grow. I get to see the full cycle of life here in upstate New York. Maybe it's something that I didn't get to see in Florida, but wintertime, the leaves all fall off the trees. It's covered in ice. It's like they're frozen in time. And it looks like they're dead. It looks like the trees are dead in the winter. I mean, the branches are bare, unless it's like a spruce tree, a Christmas tree, right? But then what happens? When the seasons change, my Niji, baby, that's when it starts to change for you. As long as you don't go and cut your tree down and kill your roots. You got to keep those roots thriving. So when it's cold and dark and wet and miserable, the trees look ugly, they don't have any leaves, no flowers, they are not dead. And a lot of times when you come from the hood, you might feel like that tree that looks dead, but it's not. It's full of life. So when the springtime comes, the weather changes, the environment changes. This will be symbolic to you not quitting during the winter time, the winter season of your life. Not quitting during those dark seasons of your life, because you have to realize that it's just a phase, my Niji. It is a phase that might break your spirit. But guess what? You can always turn it around, because the next season is your season, because you're a chosen one. So when the springtime comes and the rain comes and the sun comes back out again, guess what? You start to bloom again. The trees that didn't have any leaves, they all start to fill with leaves. And you're like, dang, I thought this tree was dead. And this tree is thriving. And then in the summertime, it's just beautiful. And it's a cycle that we go through. And as I get older, I realize that this cycle will be for the rest of your life. You have ebbs and flows of life. You have ups and downs. There's the yin and the yang. And you don't want to quit during your less successful feeling times, you know. The circle of life was a reference in The Lion King. Okay, see, I guess that's how this correlates to this topic. Good point. The circle of life. And that's how it is with your dreams. It's like a circle of dreams. You're going to have ups and downs. Sometimes you set up right and sometimes you're not set up at all, but that is okay. You don't always have to be set up for everything. I'm a witness. Sometimes you are that rarity. Sometimes you're that chosen one. Sometimes you're the person who is meant to set the example for the other people who don't have a blueprint. Because guess what? You can make your own blueprint. You don't have to follow them. Be you. Be yourself. And be confident. Be comfortable being yourself. But don't be comfortable settling for less. Don't get it confused. Be comfortable being yourself. But don't get comfortable settling for less. Because you're worth more than that. And that is a good point. The tree of life. I guess that's how it correlates. All right. Sometimes your blueprint has to be built from scratch. It's kind of like building a house. When you inherit something, you inherit a house with the foundation there. It has the walls. It has a roof. It has the plumbing. It has everything. It has the paint. Sometimes you might even have the furniture. But when you inherit nothing, you get to create your own blueprint. Meaning you have to start from paper and pen and write your dreams down. Put it down on paper and visualize it before you see the physical evidence of it. And that's kind of how I escaped poverty and went from hood to hood. Pen and paper were my best friend. Every year I found myself writing my goals and dreams and taking action to try to accomplish some of those goals and dreams. I wasn't successful all the time. I told y'all I would shoot for a 4.0 GPA every semester and never accomplish it. Because I had life. I had this hood shit following me. Poverty. And sometimes you won't be perfect with it, but you just can't give up. That's the key. What happens when you're the first to graduate, the first to own a business, the first to escape poverty and trauma. What happens? You created a blueprint. And I know that I created a blueprint because it led somewhere. We turned something out of nothing, or nothing into something, however you want to put it. There is a steep learning curve when you're building your own blueprint. Okay? You have taxes, business, real estate, credit, networking. All right? So you're going to have mistakes more than you will ever have. So we got a troll. I can't even address the troll because I feel like you're trolling. And I don't know how to really. Let me see. Yeah. You got to ignore the trolls because you're trolling. All right. That ain't real. Yeah, whatever. I don't got time today. I ain't even feeling like addressing trolls. So this might be the wrong live for you right now. Wrong tree. All right. So there's a steep learning curve when you come from nothing. There's a very, very steep learning curve with taxes. Okay. Real estate, credit, networking. But guess what? It's not impossible. It's not impossible. It's all about a mindset. It's all about what you want to do. It's not about listening to the narratives. It's not about trying to be like the next person. It's about building your own blueprint. You have the pen. You have the paper. Now, what are you going to create? How are you going to make your purpose come to life? What are you going to do to be the first one to graduate? Be the first doctor in your family. Be the first to own that business. Or the first to escape poverty or trauma. When I was that young teenager trying to get out of the hood, I didn't know that it would even be possible. It was just something that you try. Something that you invest your energy and your time in. And if you invest your energy into being positive and instead of being negative, then you might accomplish something. Okay? Was that person a stranger and never saw his name before? Yeah, just block the troll. I don't even address the troll. Because it ain't, you just trolling. You know, I don't even know who that is. They just trolling. I can tell you trolling because of what you're saying. You're coming in with the smoke and I ain't got time today. We don't got time for that today. That's how life is. When you trying to be on the positive, you're going to always have a troll who think they got the upper hand. You just ignore fuckers like that. All right? Because I ain't got time. The fact that what you said, I don't even got time to repeat it. Because it's like, sir or ma'am, you trolling. Some people have nothing better to do. All right? Some people idiotic like that. But I'm not the one. Okay? Not the one. Not the two for you to play with. This ain't a place for you. It's not a safe place for you. Okay. So from running a dental practice and graduating with a doctoral degree, right? There were so many mistakes that I made going on this journey. And it allowed me to create my own blueprint for the next person. The Hood to Hooded book right here. Where is it? Right here. Boom. This is a blueprint for the next person. So that they don't have to go through the mistakes that I made. Because I wish somebody would have just gave me the blueprint. But sometimes that's not your story. That is not your journey. And it is okay. It is okay to create your own blueprint. What type of house are you going to build? What type of foundation are you going to have for your dreams? What type of walls? What kind of paint color? Whenever you come from nothing and you turn it into something, the magic and the beauty of that is, yes, it's hard. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, you want to quit sometimes. Yes, you feel like you don't have enough to make it. But guess what? You get to have the pen and control your own narrative. Nobody else can do that for you. You can make your house big or as small as you want it. You can go whatever direction you want to go because you are the author of your own story. You have the blueprint. So yes, As a teenager, I explored all type of careers. I wanted to be a doctor, but didn't know how or what type. So I had to go on a journey of exploration. Sometimes you have to explore who you are. What are the things that I like? What are the things that I want to sell? How can I be a contribution to society? How can I promote positive vibes only into society? All right? How? What can I do? But just know, because you are doing your own blueprint, you will run into those hiccups where you got to adjust. Like we said yesterday, you have to pivot, adapt, change your mindset, do something a little different. I can't even tell you how many times I had to do shit different. Going from hood to hooded, you got to do stuff different. You can't go through it like you in the hood. There's some people that you can't hang with. There's some people that you can't be friends with no more. It's some things that you got to cut off when you want to elevate to the next level. Everybody can't go with you. Everybody's mindset is not the same. Some people just here to stir up the pot. Like you just saw this troll come in. They here to stir up the pot. Knock you off your task. All right? Right. I have a master's in what is my master's in? In health science. Health science courses. All right. So you'll burn yourself out with imposter syndrome or constantly question yourself, am I doing it right? And those thoughts are valid. It's okay to be like, damn, am I doing it right? Is this going to work? I feel like my whole life since I was probably in my single digit ages has been like in survival mode. Even now I feel like it's in survival mode. That's what I feel. I don't feel like there's no handouts. I don't feel like even now nothing is coming to save me, which is why I still have to go so hard. I was talking to my dad today and he was like, we was talking about something and he said, yeah, we was talking about coming from poverty, how starting from nothing. He said, you don't know if you want to be a model, a dentist, a podcast host. You don't know which lane you want to be. I say, Dad, I got to go every lane. I have to try multiple sources of income because I'm not where I want to be. And I refuse to crumble at this point. I came too far to turn around now. I don't have millions in the bank. My business is still growing. It's very new. Everything is invested. You know, I have to do more than one thing to make something come to life. Yes, this doctoral degree is cool, but the doctoral degree is only half of the journey. The rest of the journey is about continuing to learn, continuing to stand on business about yourself. Hello. How you feeling? Continuing to feel good about yourself. All right? Many of us are still trying to figure it out, and that's okay. Here I am at almost 40, still trying to figure it out. And at times I'm like, damn, am I in a midlife crisis? But it might be. But you still have to just keep pushing. Actually, as a child, the parent's supposed to guide the seed of talent. Sometimes that is true. But sometimes the parents don't even have their talent figured out. They don't even have their mindset figured out. They put their kids off on other people. They don't show up. They're convinced and pressured to doing the wrong thing, and they're going to jail, and they can't be a role model. That was my life. My mom is 6 feet under. My dad is not a role model, and I don't even live with him. So I don't have a role model, which is why sometimes you don't have that guidance. I can just only be grateful to my mother here, who before she died, she planted the seed and just said, hey, you're going to be a doctor. That one little seed she planted into me was enough for me to thrive for decades on just that seed. Nobody else told me that. People were looking at me like I was going to be a teenage mother, somewhere strung out, not making it. This is why my story went viral on Facebook, because people could not believe that this little chocolate girl who didn't have the Cinderella story, became hooded. became a doctor. They were like, whoa, we thought you weren't going to make it. So many people probably thought I was not going to make it. But I'm here to tell you, you are the determining factor on whether you make it or not. Your parents can plant the seeds. Some parents, they plant the seeds. I've seen it over and over again. And even now, people look at me like, dang, you made it. Some of these kids have it laid out. Sometimes that ain't the best route. They plant the seeds and the kids do not respect the seeds. They don't even understand how grateful they should be to their parents for even setting them up to have an easy life, to even go to college without debt, to go to college with a financial literacy mindset, with all the optimism and the care that your parents pour into you. I didn't get that. And I could be bitter. I could just tumble down and cry and fall over and give up and say, you know what, all I'm gonna be is a project chick. I'm gonna be a city girl. I'm gonna be a project chick. Yeah, a project baby. I was a project baby that became a hooded baby. Yes, your mom provided that guidance. All praises. Yes, she did. She provided that guidance with just one phrase. She saw something in me then that I didn't even see in myself. But after she left, I had to use that motivation. During those days when I didn't want to even keep going. As a teenager, you could get so depressed. People don't know that teenagers can be depressed. Teenagers can be down. Even when you're in your 20s, you can feel like you don't have it figured out. And that's okay if you're still figuring out. It's okay. None of us have it figured out. People in their 40s and 50s still don't have life figured out. They just don't. And then when the people who get older, my elderly patients, they just be like, hey, when you get this old, just enjoy the time. It don't even be so serious. All the things that we go into debt for and get distraught over, relationships can cause you to go down. It's a lot of things in life that will ruin your life and cause you to give up and to feel like you don't have a chance. It's okay to pivot, pause, and still evolve. And that's really true. Just because you're successful doesn't mean you figure everything out. And that is my case. I feel like I'm successful. I feel like, okay, when I was this young girl, my whole dream was, okay, to get the doctoral degree, become a dentist. And then when I got this degree, I was like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? Of course, I started working, but I didn't feel like my purpose was being fulfilled. So I said, okay, let me write a book. So I spent a couple years writing this book. And I still feel like I haven't put the book out, so my purpose still isn't being fulfilled. And sometimes you go through that. Some people still don't know how to pivot. And as we get older, we just waste time trying to figure out how to pivot, how to evolve. All right? But you just have to keep going. The myth of having it all together and why that is a perfect trap for you to try to strive for perfection. I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense, but there's a myth that people have it all together, especially on social media. If you go to Instagram, it looks like everybody has it all together. But I got out of the habit of looking at things for face value and judging other people, whether it's good or bad. You shouldn't judge other people because you don't know what people have going on. I used to be like, oh my God, that is the cutest relationship, like following these couples, and then 2 years later, it's like a catastrophe. There was abuse going on or something crazy. So you just never know what people are truly going through. So don't allow social media and other people to be your determining factor of who you are and how great you can be and where you can come from. Sis, you are successful. Thank you so much. And sometimes I don't feel successful. And that's the whole purpose of this. Sometimes I don't feel successful. You can get in your own head after all that you've been through, after all the trials that you came through, after all the trauma that you've been through, how life just keeps knocking you down. You can feel like, dang, I don't feel successful. I don't feel good enough. I feel like I got to try harder. Sometimes it be like that. Sometimes we are so hard on ourselves that we're afraid to still be trying to figure it out. And that's me. And that's a lot of us still trying to figure it out because we weren't born with the blueprint. And that is okay. I'm learning to take life one day at a time. I need you. Just one day at a time. Even with this consistency challenge, I take it one day at a time now. No matter if I don't feel like staying committed to my goal, I know that there's a purpose that is bigger than me. Somebody needs to hear my voice, because I will get into my feelings and not show up and become this introverted person and not go live because I have a lot of insecurities about what I'm going to talk about. Am I going to mess up? Is anybody going to show up? You can't even let all of that phase you. Remember your why. Remember your purpose. Remember that you no longer crave validation from those who couldn't help you in the first place. A lot of us crave attention and validation from people online who can't help you in the first place. It is up to you to help yourself. Success for me looks very, very different than when I first started out. It looks very, very different. As a child, I thought that success was the big house, the big car, the dream job, millions of dollars. But now success or all those things. And true, that is a measure of success, but it's not the only measure of success. The real measure of success is how you treat other people. What do you give to other people when it comes to positive energy? Are you pouring into other people and making a difference in the world? Are you just out here trying to cause chaos? You see how that troll came and left? They just chaos. You ignore stuff like that because it don't even have to be a part of your reality. You don't pay it no attention. You don't feed the trolls. You don't feed those negative demons that are in your mind. You don't feed those things. You only crave to make your own internal self happy. Yeah, you want to make other people happy, but you have to be happy. Self-love is the best love. One of the highlights of last night's stream was all right. So, this is a message to the ones just starting out, especially my younger folks. And again, I don't have all the answers, y'all. I'm still on my journey. But the thing about it is I know that my journey won't leave me hanging because I'm determined. You have to be determined. Have that passion burning deep inside of you to just wake up every day and put one foot in front of the other. All right? So, talk to your younger self or someone who feels behind. So this is my message to anybody who is feeling behind, feeling stuck, feeling like the world is crumbling apart. Because everything in the news now is, everything's crumbling apart. This is going on. It's just all to get you into that phase where you feel broken. You may not have been set up, but you are not stuck. I always tell y'all, hey, if you don't like where you are, move. You are not a tree. See, trees, they can't move. Wherever you plant the seed, this is where the tree has to grow, unless you go and dig it up, of course, and plant it somewhere else. But generally, you cannot move if you are a tree. But we are not trees. We are living beings. We can go, we can move, we can go to a new city, we can try this, we can try that, we can fail, we can get back up, we can fall, we can get back up, we can try again, we can try 100 times, we can try 1,000 times. It's just no limit to when you give up. You don't give up. You just keep trying until you make it. Do y'all know a lot of the most successful people didn't strike gold with their success until they were in their 40s or 50s or 60s? So it's really never too late. All right. I just saw a video of this woman, Copper Tongue Niji woman, and she just graduated college as the valedictorian. But the crazy thing about it is she did this 20 years later. So she had some issues at the beginning of her life where she couldn't finish school. You know how life be lifing. It's the same. Ain't nothing changed. People have kids. People have bad relationships. People have trauma where they get stuck. But she said, you know what? Even though it's been 20 years, a lot of people been like, damn, it's too late. 20 years, I ain't got it. I ain't got the time. I got a whole bunch of stuff going on. But she said, you know what? This is my goal. I'm going to go back and do it. And she graduated 20 years later as the valedictorian. And you can't make this stuff up. Is the sunflower your favorite flower? It's one of my favorite flowers, but I picked the sunflower just because it connects to the sun. I feel like it ties to the Niji, the melanin, and I think the sunflower is just beautiful and resilient. But I guess it's one of my favorite flowers. Definitely. But I like all flowers. And I'm definitely a flower girl. A girl's girl, flower girl. All right. But yeah, she graduated 20 years later as a valedictorian. I might pull that video up before I get off of here. Definitely motivating. Thank you truly, Dr. Chief the Sunflower. You're welcome. All right. So how do we go and build our own blueprint when we come from nothing? When we didn't get those seeds planted and we trying to water our own garden. You know, the family ain't hyping you up. You got to hype yourself up, or you just went through some things and you can't get back on track. Where do we start? You start by learning about money. You start by finding mentors, podcasts, or people in your network who can help you elevate. People who, mentors, or I already said that one. Counseling. People don't know, as a child, after my mom passed, I was always in counseling. And it wasn't my choice. The school always saw me as that little intelligent little girl who could be something. But some kind of way, they knew before I knew that there would be a mental roadblock. There was some trauma going on. So they had me in counseling. High school, I had a counselor. Because I had an incident in my household where I was stabbed with a knife. It didn't pierce my back because the knife broke, but a family member stabbed me in the back with a knife. You know, literally. Literally. So the counselors at the school found out. They took me out of that home and I moved with another family member. And I was in the international baccalaureate program, like the IB program, the Ivy program, like the, you know, but they saw that and I had to go to counseling. And even though I feel like the counseling didn't help me, you know, maybe it did. Talking about it, being forced to vent about it. But I'm like, I don't want to be here. In college, I had a counselor. At Meharry Medical College, in dental school, I had counseling. Because I had to deal with a lot of trauma. And a lot of the trauma almost counted me out. Like every year of my life, the trauma almost counted me out. The depression. The post-traumatic stress from losing my mom. And just being bitter about my dad not really setting me up for success. Did the person who did that to you needs to be in jail? They didn't go to jail. It was a sibling, but they didn't go to jail. And I didn't press charges because this is family. I just moved away. I can't trust them after that, but that was high school. You know what I mean? So these are things that's going on in high school for me. It's all in my book. Okay, another thing we can do is start to heal from the childhood wounds, get therapy, and create structure. So I feel like I have created structure in my life. I have escaped a lot of those generational curses that hold most people back and built my own blueprint to success. And even though I'm still writing the blueprint to success, this Hood to Hooded book, I feel like is part 1. Part 2 will be the journey of me being homeless after dental school twice, going to residency, getting a job. My first job I got while sleeping in the car. I was in New York City, homeless in the car. When they called me for my first job as a doctor, I was like, yes, I got a job before I graduated, because it was like, what the hell? What the heliante? You know what I'm saying? And all the way up until now, we're having a dental practice. That's a whole nother beast that I was not prepared for, wasn't trained for. So every day is like, you know, I'm still in the race to make my dreams come alive. And I feel like this podcast is a way for me to vent about my life, vent about the journey that I'm going through with trying to achieve success, and to connect with other people who might be experiencing the same thing and don't have an outlet, because we are not perfect. I show up on these podcasts, I show up live, authentically me, and I'm not perfect. I don't even have to fear. I will get in here and talk to myself because I know eventually somebody might need to hear that. Where can I get your book? Yes, where can I get the book? So the book is not... The book hasn't been published yet, but this is the book. And it's a very, very heavy, thick book. It's not published yet. That's one of the next projects that I am working on, which is why my dad said you need to get it together. Like you got too many irons in the fire. I can't give up. I have to have more than one plan to have streams of income. Like y'all don't understand. I can't give up. If I quit now, like if I don't get up every day and try to make my dental practice work, I'm homeless tomorrow. And I can't call family and be like, hey, I'm homeless. I've done that before. After graduation, as a dental student, after trying since a teenager, I couldn't get $100 from my family member. Because they said, oh, I thought you would have that already. I thought you was this doctor. People don't understand the journey. So that's why I can't quit on me. That's why I make multiple sources of income. And even though they're not producing much right now, they still are seeds that are being planted. And this is what I mean by building your own blueprint. One day I'm going to be able to tell you guys, hey, I hit $1 million or I hit this. Now I can tell you how to do it. But I'm still trying to figure it out. But it's okay. That's what this whole podcast is about. It's not having it all figured out, but being okay enough to keep going on and not quit on yourself. It don't matter if you sleeping in your car. You can still make it. It doesn't matter about all of that. It doesn't matter if you got $2 and you got to eat a cheeseburger and until tomorrow. It doesn't matter about that. Sometimes it be hard like that. It doesn't matter if you get really sick. I done been really sick. Couldn't get out the bed on a chemo drug. My last semester in dental school, I could not go to all the festivities. I was sleeping. But somebody said, hey, if you don't get out of this bed, your whole dream is dead. I got out of the bed, pushed myself. I was in a rage, taking Lupron. Y'all probably never heard of that chemo drug, but there's a whole support group on it. They don't even sell this no more. But I had to go through that. I had to be the testimony to show you can overcome anything. You can overcome childhood trauma. You can overcome being sick. You can overcome failure. You can overcome homelessness. You can overcome hunger. You can overcome all of that. You just can't quit on yourself when you're going through the most difficult times of your life. You should have your own talk show. It'd be like Dr. Phil or Oprah Winfrey rolled into one. Lord, your father reminds me of people who do nothing for your success while complaining about you, about your path, shaking my head. No disrespect. Hey, this is my reality. My dad was not really there. He had, and I don't even blame him for it because I understand the history, especially when you're in Florida. I understand how the police target melanated men. And my dad is dark skinned. My dad, he didn't have a father. So these are the generational curses that we have to break on the Hood to Hooded podcast. I used to be so angry. I used to not talk to him. I had to get over that because I couldn't heal. That's why I say part of building your blueprint is not holding grudges. It's not having that hate. It's about healing from those childhood wounds. Because if you don't heal, you cannot grow. You don't understand people's story, you cannot grow because we are not perfect. My dad was far from perfect, but I had to get over that in order for me to grow, in order for me to heal. I had to let him know how I feel. I had to get the story out. And now that I understand history, I understand his history, that he never knew his father. So how could you learn how to be a father when your father evaporated on you? How could you learn these skills? And it just goes from generation to generation to generation until somebody puts a stop in it. So for me to come from where I come from to be here talking to you all today, you got to know there is a miracle. You got to know there's a lot of manifesting and determination and just a will not to quit. A will just to say, you know what? I will not be what y'all think I'm going to be. I'm going to be what I think I'm going to be. I control my destiny. I control my life. I control my future. And the generational curses put in place by the colonizers that they said, hey, we have to break their spirit. You did not break my spirit. You could not break me down. Sometimes I might have quit on myself. But guess what? I couldn't stay there. I said, you know what? I got to turn back around and try again. I cannot let this take me down. Simba overcame failure and childhood trauma from what Scar did to Mufasa. And he had to step up and fight Scar for the kingdom of Pride Rock and be the king he was destined to be. I love the Lion King. Yes, that is exactly... When you asked me the question earlier about how does the Lion King tie to Hood to Hooded, You just answered the question for yourself, and I 100% agree with that. Sometimes you have to overcome, not sometimes, every time, the childhood trauma will hold you back. Not being set up for success will hold you back. I have a sibling, same mom, same dad, where the story, losing our mom, my dad not being there, held them back from who they could have been. It held them back. They lived with a lot of anger, a lot of stress, a lot of just not ever saying, you know what, regardless of what seeds were not planted for me, I had the ability to plant my own damn seeds. Like, what? I'm not finna let life knock me out. And granted, sometimes life could have knocked me out plenty times. I done been so depressed that I just didn't want to keep trying. I just wanted to give up. And when I took that medication in dental school, that literally nearly killed me. I was in the hospital every other day. I was in clinical menopause, walk around the school with a fan. And on top of that, I had a professor who I had to go to the dean or the president of the university to get out of dental school because I had never been into any drama in my 4 years of dental school. I was the student who just showed up, did what the fuck I'm supposed to do, and I made it to graduation year. And then I got sick. And the school knew that I got sick. And this one person just made my life a living hell. Caused me to go homeless. Caused me to sleep in the homeless shelter sometimes. Caused me to feel like I can't make it. But guess what? I had a mission. I had a dream to get to New York, to start my residency. And that's what I did. I didn't take nothing with me. I said, I gotta go. Sick and all, I have to go. I cannot let this count me out. Because if I quit now, I might not get another chance. Because ain't no safety net. There is no safety net for me. And people don't even believe in dental school. And I don't really tell this story a lot. It's in this book. But in dental school, my second year of dental school, one of the hardest years, I was taking care of 5 people. I was taking care of 4 children and a grown man. 4 children and a grown man. I gotta really figure out how to block people. I don't know how to block people. But Kick be having some weird people coming in. Do not click the link, okay? Whatever links people put in here, do not click it. I really have to figure out how to fix the Kick comments because I don't know where they be coming from to the left. All right. So, yeah. Just because your family didn't set you up doesn't mean you can't win. The blueprint might be raggedy, but it's yours. Own your story. Take the steps and don't let not having a head start be the excuse. Be the blueprint. Be the blessing. Be the shift. Okay? Yes, that is a troll. And you made it to New York. Yes, I made it in New York. I'm not from here, but I made it in New York. Do y'all know how serious that is? And I had the opportunity to stay in Nashville. When I was going through this journey, raising 4 kids, braiding hair at night, going to school Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. That was one of the most difficult years of my life. I was Miss School of Dentistry that year. I was in a terrible relationship that was not working. And after that year, I said, I have to bet on me. My professor said, you got to bet on you. You can help the kids later, but you have to bet on you or you're going to fail. And in that moment, I said, I have to bet on me. And that's when all hell kicked in. You get sick. You face so many challenges that are unexpected. And you need somebody in your corner. You must have blocked them. I don't see them in the chat. Oh, good. Yeah. I got to work on my chat because I don't know. The people in Kick, I'm new to Kick, so I don't really have an audience there. But we're not afraid of trolls. Trolls are going to come. On your way up, it gets worse and worse with the trolls. So you got to have some thick skin. All right. Excuse me. You got to have thick skin. So that is the message for today, guys. That's the message. My family didn't set me up for success, so I had to take it. If your family didn't set you up, sometimes you got to take that shit. You got to put all the heavy weight on your back and keep trucking. Now is not the time to throw in the towel. It's never the time to throw in the towel. Sometimes you need to take a break and rest, but never the time to throw in the towel. All right? So, before Well, thank you guys for joining me. Thank you, Clifford 2000 fan, for always being in the building. Marlisha Marsh, thank you for joining. And these trolls, I don't know what to say about y'all. I just ignore the trolls. I don't really know how to block certain things. But you know, people gonna come in and talk shit. But before I get out of here, any last questions, comments? Thank you for the message. Lord knows I needed your story. I noticed when I press enter after typing a comment, 30 seconds later, it shows up on the screen. I will have to fix that. So there's a 30-second delay that I need to fix, because I did something to the chat to try to get the messages to stay up longer, because they were just like disappearing really fast. So I'm still working out the kinks on that, but thank you for pointing that out. I will fix that as soon as I get off. You're welcome, Marlisha. We all need inspiration. We all need motivation, and that's what I'm here for. I am not perfect. I'm still trying to figure it out. I still go through things every day. I'm still just trying my best. So if you need a sign for you to try your best and not give up, hey, let it be me. Let it be me, because it ain't easy. All right? Have you watched Clifford the Big Red Dog? Clifford the Big Red Dog, that used to be one of my favorite cartoons, but I haven't watched that since a kid. It's been a while. It's been a couple decades. I remember in elementary school, we used to have the book fairs. I would love like the Clifford the Big Red Dog, like books and things like that, but it's been a while. The only books that I read now is like pretty much to try to get past like business. Try to be successful, you know. There was an episode where T-Bone had to train for a race between Mac and T-Bone. I can't even remember who T-Bone is, honestly. Is that the red dog? No, Clifford is the red dog. See what I'm saying? When it comes to the Clifford stuff, I'm lost in the sauce. Lost in the sauce. Any other final comments, guys? Have a good night, beautiful people. You too. Have a wonderful night, everyone. Guess what? I'll be back tomorrow. With another topic. I don't know what I'll be talking about, but I'm going to show up and we just going to vibe out. All right? Seems like everybody got their questions out. I'll give it 30 more seconds since I know there's a delay. Mac cheated, but T-Bone won fair and square. T-Bone is the yellow bulldog. Cleo is purple poodle, and Mac is the blue Italian greyhound. You really are Clifford fan, because I don't know who none of these people are. It's been so long. Clifford is a Labrador. Yeah, I remember Clifford the Big Red Dog. Lesson 3 on Native Americans. Please. All right. We got some requests. So y'all want to learn more about American Indian history. So maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Some more Indian history. I think I have a good idea of what I want to cover. I started to do it today, but I feel like putting it together would have made me feel like I didn't want to come live because I already have this slight cold. So tomorrow I will put it together. And we will dive into more American Indian history and more positive vibes only, guys. So if you're watching this on the replay, even if you're watching this now, make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you are following. If you want to support the live, there's a link if you want to support. And this is Dr. Cheat This Sunflower. It was good chilling with you guys tonight. And I will see you all tomorrow. Good night, fam.